If you're looking for a strictly performance Harley-Davidson, today we got you covered.
Let's go.
This is the Sportster S. The Sportster S kind of reminds you of something Batman would be riding, to be honest with you. This bike weighs 502 pounds and is putting out 94 foot-pounds of torque and 121 horsepower. You're going to get cornering safety enhancements such as ABS and traction control in your corners. You're also going to get different rider modes. Let's take a look at those real quick. You're going to have rain mode, road mode, sport mode, and 2 custom modes. If you can see it right there when I'm clicking the button. And to change the modes, you basically just use this button right here to switch through your different modes. This is going to be your run and start button. Like when you cut it off, you flick it that way, turn it on, you do that, and you depress the button to get it cranked up. You also got a lot of controls on here, and you're probably wondering like, oh my God, what are all of those? That's because this bike has Bluetooth functionality and a plethora of features embedded in this 4-inch display that I actually love. Now, as you can see, your seating is going to be very minimalistic. This one is a pre-owned unit, and it already has on your passenger pillion right there. I don't see any passenger foot pegs on here though. Those are something you can add on to the bike though. It comes with the 1250 Revolution Max motor, which we all know is Harley's answer to performance. That is your performance motor. It comes in this Sportster S as well as the Pan America. You got full LED lighting all the way around the unit. And as you can see, this is kind of a fat tire bike, similar to how the 48 had the front tire being fatter. That front tire is a 160 70 R17 and the rear is a 180 70 16. So not too much wider than the front tire. You also got this higher mount exhaust. I'm assuming that's to help with lean angle. As you can see, the foot pegs are a little bit higher than you typically would see on a Sportster or any other Harley-Davidson for that fact. But if you'd like to see more specs about the bike, you can check it out on Harley-Davidson's website or our website. But we're about to take this bike out and take it for a spin and give you my impressions on how does the Sportster S ride. Let's go. We're all suited up and ready to go. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to flick it to run. You're greeted with an amazing display. I'm not sure if it's picking up on camera, but this display on this 4-inch screen is, I feel like this should be on almost every bike. We got her in neutral, and we're going to start off in rain mode, which is right there. And we'll go through rain mode, road mode, and sport mode. As you can see, this pre-owned unit has 5,460 miles on it. Let's get her cranked up. There we go. All right, we got her in first gear. Let's go for a ride. Now, something you'll notice that's different on this bike, I believe it's like this on the Nightster as well, is your turn signals are located right here on the left. That's how you switch from left and right for turning. Where most traditional Harley-Davidsons, you got your right turn signal on your right hand and your left turn signal on your left hand. Now, one thing I'll have to say, for this being a Sportster, even though it is the Sportster S, there is a lot of controls on here. The fact that you can adjust volume, I guess that's for Bluetooth when you're linked up to your helmet. You can activate your voice assistant by pressing this button. You can switch through songs. They make it very easy for you to do everything without being extremely distracted, such as having to reach up and touch your Bluetooth on your helmet or do any of those things. It looks like right here, we got a cycle mode where we can cycle through and see the temperature of the bike, the range we got left as far as miles. You also got a digital speedo, and a tachometer, which I love the look of.
So unfortunately, we had to go into voiceover mode, but we're still going to talk about the bike. I'm still going to give you all my impressions on how I feel like it rides. It's just too much wind was coming into the helmet, and it just was unbearable to listen to. So right now we're riding in rain mode, which again, this bike has 5 different modes. You got rain mode, you also have road mode, and you have sport mode. The good thing about that is that if you're a newer rider or newer to motorcycling, you have the option of starting out in rain mode, because rain mode is going to be very, very toned down. It's not going to put out the power that the Sportster S is actually capable of. That's one thing I like about a motorcycle with different modes, is you can grow with it. Like while you're still learning or getting comfortable with the bike, you can ride in rain mode, which we're in now. And then as you get more comfortable with the motorcycle, you can bump it up into road mode, which is going to give you a little bit more performance. And then when you're ready to be a complete hooligan, you can just put it in sport mode and just rip on the throttle and experience everything that this motorcycle has to offer. My impressions from riding this bike is it is definitely built on performance. When switching to road mode, you definitely notice an increase in the performance of the bike. It's not too overwhelming, but it's there, and you feel that the throttle is definitely more responsive than in rain mode, and you can tell that this bike has a ton of performance to unleash. But when you put it in sport mode, totally different beast. This bike has a ton of torque. While riding in sport mode, I barely turned the throttle a quarter of a turn and the bike shot off like a rocket. One thing that really surprised me about this motorcycle is the lean angle and how it handles itself in the corners. The fact that this bike has a fatter front tire, you would think it wouldn't want to lean over as easy as it does, but it goes into the corners effortlessly. The bike is extremely nimble, and you could tell that it's definitely designed for performance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Sportster S is the perfect motorcycle. Of course, it could be a little bit more comfortable because, again, you are kind of hunched over in that type of seating position with your legs going forward as well. But this bike was not designed for comfort. It was designed for performance. So as long as you know that up front, I feel like you'll be very happy with this machine. There are definitely a few things you could do to the bike to make it better, such as adding on an exhaust, because the sound that comes out of the Revolution Max motor is not the sound that you would be expecting from a Harley-Davidson. But that's with any manufacturer's motorcycle. When they put those stock pipes on there, it doesn't unleash the sound of the bike. So I would definitely suggest throwing some pipes on this motorcycle. The good thing about this bike is that it's a Harley-Davidson. So therefore, you know there's going to be plenty of options to customize this bike, such as risers, seats, foot pegs. They may even come out with an option to put mid controls on it. So you'll be able to make the bike customized to fit you. But me telling you how it rides, how it feels, me ripping on the throttle, you seeing this footage of me having a good time on it, I really wish you could hear the expressions and the excitement in my voice as I'm taking these corners. It just isn't going to do it justice unless you physically ride one of these bikes. If you're anywhere in the Concord area, I definitely suggest you swing by Speedway Harley-Davidson while we still have this bike in stock, so that way you'll be able to do a demo on it. As we know, these bikes are rare. There's not a lot of them out on the road, and you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to ride one. So comment down below any questions we have not answered during this video, any videos you'd like to see in the future regarding this bike while we still have it in stock. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and share the content. You never know. One of your friends may be looking for a Sportster S and can't find one, and you sharing this content could help them out. So we'll check you out in that next video. Again, we apologize for the voiceover, but I didn't want you to just listen to a ton of wind.